So vile nimewaeleza, the moment we make 2027 about tribe, we have lost it before we begin. The moment 2027 election is about this tribe versus that tribe, or a coalition of this tribe and this tribe and this tribe versus that tribe, we've lost it. There is no tribal alliance that can beat President William Ruto in that election. Hakuna hata tuungane aje na kabila gani ama kabila gani na gani. There is no tribal alliance that can defeat President William Ruto in that election. And this guy needs to go home. He even needs to go home earlier than 2027. But the moment we make the movement about tribalism, we will be playing his game. How did President William Ruto manage to kill this Gen Z movement? He brought tribalism. He brought Raila on the table, not for any reason. It was because of tribalism, so that people from certain community can say, Sisi sasa we are comfortable, we've gotten a share of government. It was all about tribalism. The reason he was trying to link Gen Z with Gachagua is because he wanted to make it a Kikuyu affair, so that he's able to convince the rest of the nation that, you know, this is one community that's angry with power that is actually using the Gen Z against me. He does not want that election to be about corruption or bad governance. The moment 2027 election is about corruption, bad governance, state capture, William Ruto will lose that election. And he will lose at 20% of the vote. The moment the election is about corruption and about bad governance, he will lose it. So what is his genius move? His genius move, which is working according to plan, is to use tribalism. Number one, impeach Gachagua. When you impeach Gachagua, what do? You provoke the people of Mount Kenya. When you provoke the people of Mount Kenya, what happens? They start singing circumcision songs. When they sing circumcision songs, what happens? The rest of the nation feels left out from the movement, because now it has become a Mount Kenya affair. Yet the problems we have as Kenyans, they are involving every Kenyan, they are not involving one community. So unapata the Mount Kenya, what Ruto is doing is that he is boxing them into a corner. He wants to isolate them from the rest of the nation with Gachagua. So they have Gachagua, but they are isolated from the rest of the country. You know, it's very difficult for Gachagua to convince other Kenyans who are not from Mount Kenya to vote for him, because other Kenyans have this perception that Gachagua is tribal. Even if probably you know him better and maybe you've met him and you know he's not tribal, perception is everything. This guy, people think that he is tribal. So it's very difficult to sell him outside Mount Kenya. And that is why I'm almost sure, and I can bet, that William Ruto is going to let Gachagua win that case in court. I suspect that Gachagua will win that case. And the reason he will win that case is because he doesn't want Mount Kenya to have any other candidate. He wants them to have Gachagua, because it's easier to sell tribalism when Gachagua is the candidate. So what does he do? You see, in this country, tribalism is so deep that there are people who hate other communities more than they hate William Ruto. There are people who go certain places, they say, nani alichukua mashamba yenu? Ni kabila fulani. Banks zote hapa ni za kabila gani? Na supermarket zote, Quickmart ni ya nani? Naivas ni ya nani? Na si kuna vijana wenu hapa hawana kura, hawana kazi. It's very easy to sell tribalism in Kenya, especially against maybe a community that has maybe is everywhere, or has bought a lot of land, or has worked hard and gathered property. It's very easy to sell tribalism against them from other communities. So you find people will believe the tribalism story more than they will believe the story about corruption. One of the things that has affected the Vampire Diaries and my fight against corruption has been tribalism. Because people say, kwa nini mnafuata huyu? Wa ile kabila si wameiba? Mbona mfuati wa ile kabila? Mbona mnafuata wa hii kabila, mnawacha wa ile kabila? And tribalism has really affected the fight against tribalism, the fight against corruption. So the people of Mount Kenya should be careful, wasiwekwe kwa hiyo mtego where they are strategically being isolated so that he can run a 2007 style 41 versus 1 narrative. And you know Ruto has stolen a lot of money. So he's a billionaire by all standards. So if it comes to buying tribal kingpins, he can buy kingpins from almost every tribe. And that is why I began this video by saying, the moment we make 2027 about tribe, ati sisi wa Kale, sisi wa Luya, sisi wa Kisii, sisi wa Kikuyu, sisi wa watu wa Coast, sisi wa Luya, sisi wa Turukana, tumeamua. The moment we play that game, Ruto will win, and he will not just win, he will win with 70%. Because what he will do is he will use money. And how the money will be used is that he will buy kingpins of different tribes. Akinunua watu wawili, amenunua kabila mzima. Akinunua tena kingpin mmoja, jamaa mmoja, akimpea 300 million, ama 5 billion, ama 2 billion, amenunua kabila mzima. Let me tell you Kenyans, if we don't get over tribalism, mambo ya corruption and the fight against corruption, you to sahau, will not win it. We will not win it. And the best people to begin this war against tribalism are the young people of Kenya. Vijana kama mimi and some who are watching. The young people, it's very easy for them to end tribalism because most of them, they are not very tribally inclinated. Secondly, some of them come from families where mother is from this tribe and father is from that other tribe. Mother tongue ilitolewa kwa school curriculum, so some of them don't even speak their mother tongue. So it's easier to make the young population tribeless. It's easier for the young people to unite non-tribally than the older generation because of their experiences and because of the life they've lived in this country. So we as the young people, we have a responsibility to chart a new future. And we are requesting our parents to support us so that we begin a new future that it does not have tribalism. So when you look at me as Morara, don't look at me on the basis of my tribe. Look at me as a young person like you, a Kenyan suffering like you, who needs a better Kenya for you and for me to have a better place. If we do it that way, and I can tell the youth, if they unite, they don't need money. If they unite, William Ruto cannot rig that election. Because for sure he's going to own the IEBC. Commissioners wanaenda tu kuwa wake. That's obvious. And there's nothing we can do about it at this point. So what do? We need the youth to unite, because when the youth are united, hawezi ambiwa atipiga kura uende nyumbani, watachunga kura. And we need certain communities to tone down on the tribal rhetoric and join the rest of the nation in saying Ruto must go and we need good governance. Because when they make it about them, they exclude the rest of the nation. And when they exclude the rest of the nation, it is now easy for William Ruto to pick those people and run a 41 versus 1 kind of narrative. So that is something that needs to be thought of very keenly, and how we can avoid that tribalism by uniting against bad governance. And if we unite, even if it's tomorrow, even if it's next week, even if it's next month, then he doesn't have to reach 2027. He can be removed even before 2027. He can resign before 2027. But if we are not united, he's going to play our tribalism against us. And mark my words, if William Ruto wins a second term, it's going to be the William Ruto or the Ruto family is going to be in power for a very long time. Because they will have stolen so much money, they will be very insecure without power. They will not let that power go easily. So that's something we have to be very, very keen about. Adwa morima morajibwa. Mumenisikia? Yes, that is what I'm trying to tell you. And if you want to know that I'm right, sikiza speech za Ruto. Unajua Ruto is very predictable, by the way. Najua, I know the guy. Just listen to his speeches for the last 1 month. There is one sentence that will not miss in any of his speeches. And that sentence is, nyenye mnataka tuungane ama tutengane. That sentence, you will find it in every single speech that he has made for the last 1 month. Why? Because he is on a mission to unite the country, but not the country with Mount Kenya. He knows that Mount Kenya will not vote for him. So he's on a mission to unite the country, but to exclude Mount Kenya, then unite the country versus Mount Kenya. And you see, in such a way, he will win. Because the only thing he needs to do, even if Mount Kenya has the votes to remove him, is to rig. And it's very easy to rig a tribal election, and nothing will happen. Because the people of Mount Kenya are not violent. Hata wakiibiwa watafanyaje? They have wealth in Kisumu. They have businesses in Kisii. They have wealth in Mombasa. They are the community that cannot begin violence. So they are the community wenye wakinyang'anywa inabidi watulie. So the best chance they have is to tone down and work with all other communities so that they work together as Kenyans against tribalism of President William Ruto. I want to tell you guys something about Embu. I remember you saw the video when I was speaking about Embu. I was a bit, nilikuwa huko juu. You know, William Ruto it's not that he did not know that he will be shouted at in Embu or that he will heckle him. He knew very well. Ruto alikuwa anajua akikuja Embu atakuwa heckled. The question is, why did he come? Why? He came because he needs the heckling. Remember, kuna watu Rift Valley wameanza kufunguka macho. Wameanza kuona huyu mtu ni wetu, lakini alipewa kiti, ameanza bad governance. So why does he come to Embu to be heckled? Because when you heckle him in Embu, the people in Rift Valley who are against him, they come back to him. Wanasema, mtoto yetu hata kama ni mbaya, sisi tutakaa na mtoto wetu. Hamuwezi mfanyia madharau hivyo. That is what he was looking for. He was looking for sympathy. He was consolidating his base. Unajua saa ingine hii kitu inakuwa ni kama ni mchezo wa sinema. Mnafikiria nyinyi ndio audience, kumbe audience iko mbali. Right now, if you go through Rift Valley, there is something that Rift Valley MPs are saying in funerals. Kena wabunge wa bonde la ufa, the latest being Honorable Kamket, wanasema nini Rift Valley? Kila matanga yenye wanaenda wanasema Kenyatta alikuwa rais, kulikuwa na majaribio ya mapinduzi. Hapana. Moi alikuwa rais, si kulikuwa na majaribio ya mapinduzi 1982? Kibaki alikuwa rais, kulikuwa na majaribio ya mapinduzi? Hapana. Uhuru alikuwa rais, kulikuwa na majaribio ya mapinduzi? Hapana. Ruto amekuwa rais. Ni nini wanataka kusema ati kuna majaribio ya mapinduzi ya Gen Z? You see that? Then he goes ahead and says, ni kama sasa imekuwa kwamba rais akiwa mkale lazima wajaribu kumtoa uongozini kwa nguvu. And let me tell you, that propaganda is selling. It is selling like hot cake. I told you guys, it's easier to sell tribalism more than to sell a message of anti-corruption in Kenya. Because it's just simple. It is just to tell communities who took your land, who has the biggest shops in your towns, who has the biggest supermarket. Those are your enemies. That is why you are poor. Which is very foolish thinking, but it is the thinking that Kenyans believe. Do you guys know that there are communities in Kenya that cannot let you marry their son or marry their daughter? Kuna kabila hapa Kenya, ukienda kuoa msichana wa huko unasikia watu wanakataa. That is how deep tribalism is. That's how deep it is. If we, the young generation, sisi wenye hatuna ukabila, if we do not unite, na haijalishi, you might look at Morara, you don't like him. I might look at you, probably I don't like the way you dress. Huyu labda ni mtiaji. Huyu labda ni mvuta bangi. Huyu mwingine ni mrefu sana. Huyu ni mfupi sana. Huyu ni mnono sana. Huyu ako na kelele. Huyu ako na kimbelembele. Let us forget all our divisions as young people. Mabon Tao, Mabon Village, unaona? Sijui wenye wanatoka huku na wenye wanatoka huku. Do not be convinced to be told you are a Luo youth. Do not be convinced to be told that you are a youth but you are a Kikuyu youth. Tusiuziwe hiyo ukabila as young people. Because we tumesoma tuko exposed. There is usually a 70% chance that most of the youth in Kenya umesoma outside kabila yenu. Ulizaliwa Western ndio, lakini ulienda Mangu High School yenye iko Thika. Ulizaliwa Rift Valley, Elgeyo Marakwet, lakini ulienda Bishop Gatimu Ngandu Girls. Ulizaliwa Embu, lakini ulisoma Moi Girls Eldoret. Ulizaliwa Kirinyaga, lakini umesoma Lugulu Girls. Ulizaliwa Kilifi, lakini ukaenda Star of the Sea. Ulizaliwa Kwale, wewe ni Mdigo, lakini umesoma Kereri Girls in Kisii. That is why the young people are the best candidates to finish this issue of tribalism. Me, I was so happy when I heard that Dr. Fred Matiang'i is running for that. I was so happy. No, people usually think I was not happy. I was so happy because now he will be the Kisii candidate. Let him come, let him be made a warrior, spokesman of the community, akwe candidate ya hiyo kabila. Mimi nibaki hapa katikati hapa, where I can now unite the youth tribelessly on the basis of no tribe, but just on the basis of the ideals of good governance. If we, the young people of this generation, don't fit tribalism, my friend, even our kids will be very angry at us. Watoto wetu watakuwa natuuliza maswali why we messed up the country for them when we had a very good opportunity. Kwa hivyo wewe, a young person, ushafika 18, umemaliza form 4, umemaliza campus, ama uko job, uko 35, uko nini, majenzima millennials, msikize vizuri, you have a good chance to end tribalism. Mkianza kufuata makingpin wa kabila yenu, you are finished. William Ruto will win 2027 and the Ruto family will be in power for long. Nimewaambiaje hapa nyuma? Nimewaambia these people have stolen so much money, they will be very insecure without power. So they will kill anyone for power. They'll want to stay in power by all means. They'll want to even change the constitution and stay in power. As a family, it will be handed over like Museveni from father to son. We cannot let this guy continue like this. Atakula hii Kenya amalize and all of us will be poor here. Or he will own everything. He will own banks, he will own airports, he will own everything. We'll be slaves. Yes, tutakuwa kama wafanyikazi kwa plantation yake. Let us think about that thing very seriously. Otherwise, all these problems we are far from